Da.
So recently, my favorite gaming YouTuber played the up-and-coming video game Town to City, and apart from the beautiful voxel graphics and the aesthetic, one of the standout features was the soundtrack to me. So I contacted the composer, Paul Aubry, and we had a nice conversation on the 5th of November. Enjoy!
Hello everyone and welcome to our interview with Paul Aubry, who is a composer for the video game Town to City. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, so my name is Paul Aubry. I'm from Canada in Quebec I've been composing game music, but we could say I'm a media composer. Like I compose for games, for anything that requires music, with films, advertising. I've been enjoying notably to make video game music, and I've just done recently Town to City, which we will discuss a bit more. So that's globally that sums it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get started in composing music? What was your journey there? And then could you summarize your career? How do you got to this point?
Okay, I'll try to not to not spread too much, but so yeah, first of all, my parents were musicians. They've done this professionally for some times, and my dad also did a bit of music to picture, did music for theater. So I've seen him do that. But at an early age, it really came much later recently that I kind of find out that I wanted to be a media composer. But so I was born into a musical family, and so I started playing piano at quite an early age, maybe 8 years old. And so I've touched to classical piano. Then later on in my teenage years, I've been introduced to jazz music. And then I studied at school. I studied classical jazz arrangements, composition. I studied in composition also in Quebec, Canada. It's like pre-university school. It's in between high school. The schools work differently in different. So I did a 3-year program there in composition. I always knew that I wanted to compose music. It didn't come that easily, but I knew deep down that I wanted some music to come out of my brain, to say I created this thing. So this was really something that I wanted to do, and I worked pretty hard to get that muscle to get working. It was not easy, but then in school, it required a lot of energy. So I've been off of that for a while in my 20s, but it was still there, and I was in band also. I'm a piano player, so I played in bands. I was more leaning on being performance, and that wasn't much for me too. So it took some time to find myself into all of this. And also in parallel, I always enjoyed film music. I was really always touched by film music, by game music. When I was young, I was really loving the most important video game that influenced me to do this is the Legend of Zelda franchise. So the answer was there all along, all my life, but it's more in my mid-20s and 20s that I was I landed my first professional gig, and it was in advertising, and it was and I really caught I can be just in a studio just writing music and being paid for it. So it really rang a bell to be okay, that's something that I really enjoy doing. And I landed in a very not a random way, but I had an interest in video games, and I managed to have some opportunities there. which led me to eventually to score my first gig, and then it led me to Town to City. And so yeah, so it's recent, and and now I'm happy where I'm at. It's my career is still at an early stage. I think I'm maybe like between 5 and 10 years. Like I think I've done this full time for maybe 6 or 7 years, so it's quite fresh. But I'm enjoying it so far, and I have a few game credits to. Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah.
So your first video game like contribution was Airborne Kingdom, if I remember correctly, right? Or
yes, exactly. So that's just that's barely 5-6 years ago. So
yeah.
So this is where it was a bit like I feel pretty like lucky to have these kinds of, I think it's not an easy like video game composers, it's not easy to step in the door of this industry, and that was like Airborne Kingdom came in a very lucky way where I was starting out making music for films, advertising, and such. And I had a friend, and he wanted to help out. He's someone who was good with like communications, and he's a friend. He's a fellow musician friend of mine, which I was playing with him, and I told him, he said I could help you out. Maybe I could like find some opportunities, help you out with your career. Like it was gentle.
Yeah.
And I said I would like. I never done video game music, and I would like to. And he said, I know someone who works at EA Games, which is very naive, because he probably would have answered like, I don't know how to get gigs, because he's a programmer there. He was a programmer there, but so, and in the end, this person was so my friend called his programmer friend, and he said, well, I'm not working at EA anymore. I'm starting my indie game company with a few people from EA, and we're just making a demo right now about this prototype game, which will eventually be Airborne Kingdom, and we need some demo music. So like, you're just in time. We need music. We don't know anyone. So I just really like that. That's really like, what were the odds of this?
Yeah.
And so I made the demo music for Airborne Kingdom, for the Airborne Kingdom demo, which ended up having they were signed by Epic Games at first, and then it was released pretty much everywhere at the end. But so this was my first step and my first credits, and then that just led to Joost, the head of Galaxy Grove, which made he made Station to Station and Town to City. He played Airborne Kingdom, so this is how I got in contact with him, because he played it, and he said like he made a little shout out like on social media about he said, I really loved he's a city builder guy, and like this is like really what Galaxy Grove like are starting to really develop into, and so he said like, shout out to this game, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the music. Joost is a music lover. He plays cellos, and so I just did my PR duties, and I said like, I'm looking for opportunities. Like I want to do more. I wanted to get more contacts. So I just reached out, and I said like, I saw the profile of the guy. He had a nice profile. Like he was making indie games, and he was making music. Some music that I could connect with. So I said like, I genuinely said like, I'm looking for new projects, and you seem to have like cool projects you're working on. So like, if you ever want to collaborate, like, I'm looking for new projects. And another lucky shot, like, he was also starting his new company. He worked for several, I think, various indie game company, and he was starting out Galaxy Grove, and he said, I'm prototyping my Station to Station. So he gave me a shot at Station to Station, and then it led to Town to City. So it's really just like so far, like,
luck,
it's not like I didn't work on tons of things yet, but like so far it's just been I've been
Nice.
very fortunate to have these opportunities. So like right now, I'm the Town to City is my third game. There's also Airborne. I'm working also on Airborne Empire, which is
Yeah.
the second title of the Wandering Band's Airborne Kingdom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my that's been my journey so far in the video game industry.
Okay, nice. And like, I know this is probably like a naive question, but how is video game like composing music for video games? How was that different, or like how was the transition going for you from like previously, for example, from advertising composition or theater composition? Like, were there any differences in composition or like in the approach on how you worked on the music that were really stood out to you?
Um, so the game that I've worked on were mostly Station to Station was a puzzle game, but let's say we could just wrap it into like a city building
Yeah.
management games. And so the music were was the way the music was displayed in games was relatively simple. Like sometimes it can in video games it can get complicated in how the music can be triggered, like depending on what the
Yeah.
event is. So so yeah, there's situations in which that you don't approach composing the same way as other medium, but so let's say for example, Airborne Kingdom was purely ambient music. Like there wasn't much. The purpose of the music was purely just supporting the environment. So there was not like
Mm-hmm.
a we need this to be triggered at this moment. Like but there
Mm-hmm.
was like a day and night music. So it was like I often really approached so far what I did as music to picture. Often like almost like film music. I really worked often. I've always done with the people I worked with is it's always it's faster for me this way to not even play the game but ask for like the footage of the game. Like I'm asking for footage with
Oh,
like
okay.
give me like I don't often need it to be very long, but like let's say like between 3 and 5 minutes footage of the game with ideally sound effects. Like in the
Uh-huh.
recent games, I didn't do the sound effects. So like, so just so I have the environment, I have the like the visual, and I always work alongside like every time I compose, I have the game next to me. And so like for Station to Station, there were like events that like I had to do some layering. So like there was like a music playing, and sometimes there were like additional layers stacking up on the music when the players were doing some good things. There were like some momentum going on. So I had to keep that in mind. So this was different from advertising or film music. Town to City again was pretty straightforward. What day and night music, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing fancy in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
layering or interactive
Okay.
music. So again I worked with pictures and sound effects and just
Yeah.
I was listening to what I was writing and just watching it. Just does it fit? Is it fitting or not? But and just to wrap this up, there was in Airborne Empire. There's a bit of combat, so sometimes you encounter enemies. So then the
Yeah.
music has to shift. So there was some questioning about like how do we approach this. So yeah, it's a bit of case by case. Like you do what's
Mm-hmm.
necessary, so things are working out. So like if you need to play the game more to see like how things are transitioning, so yeah, it's different. Like the video game, it's this is obviously a more complex, but it's fun, it's challenging, and it's a fun challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe to add to the layering stuff, you have on your YouTube channel, you've uploaded a video like explaining the layers in Station to Station, right? Like, where you have like these four
Hmm.
layers and then add on top of them, but still in a way that they all fit together, like all the instrumentation and the melodies fit together.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. That there, you can check this video out actually
yeah,
about like the layering of how it was in Station to Station. Yeah.
yeah. Um, So were there like any other differences in approach from station to station, to town to city, like other than like not having this layering, like kind of, I don't know, like when you've already worked with the team at Galaxy Grove, was like the initial getting started, was that easier? Were there some differences in approach there?
Um, it was a bit easier because it was relatively close to station, and like they one of the not the strategy, but one of the formula of Galaxy Grove is that like they have like they want a continuity between, like they want like a link between their games, like station to station, town to city, so they have like this kind of like branding going on. And so the graphics, the visuals of station to station, town to city is based on the same visuals. So which they really had they already had their core like artistic identity. Like there's many differences in terms of like the aesthetic of like the 19th century Mediterranean aesthetic, obviously, but like really the graphics were the same. So so the first brief was and they want like a link between games. So what I've been told is we want to keep this coherence. So and the station to station music was well received. So it was like we want to keep that. So like keep this signature, but like how can we make it just a bit different in town to city? So basically I kept it's almost the same instrumentation, but then it's like what's going to be the twist? So like it's not it was not rocket science, because the brief was like we want a French aesthetic. So like you can see it just at the back there. This is
the accordion.
Yes, the accordion, and with I recorded the accordion lines on this. So I said to Joost, like it's not like there's no miracles. Like if you want French music, like if you want really people to associate it with French music, we cannot go like 10,000 different ways. Like let's just integrate this like, just put this instrument in. So this is like I'd say this is like the main difference in the soundtrack. And then obviously there were like, if you wanted to sound French, like so to speak, like the stereotypical French, let's say, it's like I did not that I did research, but like I kept in mind how the typical French the classics were written, like how like there was a lot of songwriting in the French. Like they really have this like each genre have their own signatures and characteristics. And so I really kept that in mind. Like there's a few, like there's more waltz, like there's a lot of waltz in French music, like in accordion. Maybe it's because of how it's played, but so like I really like I did more three like waltz type music, and so and it's not, in the end it's not, I don't think the Town to See soundtrack is typically French. I'm not from France. I'm not from like I'm not European. So like that, it's a coincidence, by the way, that I speak French for this game. Which was convenient to write the song, because I've been asked to write. There's a little song in Town to City, and
Grandiosité.
Yeah, I guess it was just convenient that I was actually speaking French, and I wrote. I'm the one who wrote the lyrics.
Yeah,
which is that I would say this is maybe the track that, like, it's a waltz. There's French lyrics. There's really like the vocabulary. So keeping this in mind, and if it's not like it's, I would not say it's typically French, but it's definitely influenced by it. And it's like the main goal for me in this game, and this is what the accordion effects is doing, I think, I wanted this soundtrack to sound warm and welcoming, like, like a welcoming cities, and just feel like just very cozy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice. This is also what I kind of felt while listening to the soundtrack, and you've also said this in I think an interview you did with the publisher of Town to City, that like one of the influences was the soundtrack to Amelie, um,
Hmm.
and this is also immediately what I got when listening to the accordion parts, and yeah, I think you could really hear like this stereotypical French out of
Hmm.
that, so that was very nice.
Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
but I said it was in like a musical family. My parents were listening to some French music, some
Hmm.
like singer songwriter. My dad also was also a piano teacher,
Yeah.
and there was like this trend when Amélie Poulain, the movie came out. Like everyone wanted to play the Amélie Poulain
Yeah.
soundtrack on the piano. So
Okay.
like I've heard it a bunch. Like I've heard lots of French music in my life. So it was already like like I did some research, but I was already familiar
Yeah.
with the genre, with the soundtrack of Amélie Poulain. So I'm glad like this is, I guess that's a good thing people did this, the association. That
Yeah.
because that was that's in the brief, that was like station to station, like that how they the Galaxy Rove kind of phrased it, was like station to station meets Amélie Poulain. So
Ah, nice. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I think we spoke about a bit about this via mail, but you also mentioned like the community interaction while like when working on these Galaxy Grove games through Discord. Like I checked through the server, and uh, like one song title of the soundtrack, Flower Veil, was kind of suggested or like kind of brought up by some person on Discord, and then you chose that title. So I guess so. This interaction with the community is also like um, influenced or like was a part of the way in composing the music here.
Um, Yeah, but it's a tiny part of the it's
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
just more like it's more like a fun, it's just a fun I just thought it was like fun if I could some and this is a bit like I think the approach of the indie games, especially
hmm
to have like Discord channel, I guess, and
yeah,
to get the community to to give feedbacks and all. And this is
yeah,
like there's also in games like the early access where they put their games like not finished in some way, and then
hmm
the community can give their, so it's like there's really this culture. And so music speaking, I was thinking if I can somehow do a bit of the same when I can, I was thinking it would be fun. And
yeah,
also
yeah.
so it's not much, but like for it's funny that you spotted that. But so the flower veil is because the music again in Town to City, there's not like they're not associated to very
Yeah,
specific
yeah, yeah,
levels. Like I like
yeah,
the title, the titles in the end, they're like they're vague. It's not
yeah,
like associated to some levels, or they can be. So it's more like I just find like I'm just finding like some words, some keywords and lexical related to the game.
hmm
And so I'm throwing them out like at the very end of the project, where I'm actually releasing the soundtrack. I need to find titles. And I don't know about this track at this point. I don't know, I don't remember what was my initial title, but some of the player from the community shared a screenshot of
yeah,
his or her city, and named it Flowerfell. I was like, oh, that's pretty. So I just write it down. Can I just use that? Because I
yeah,
was just out of
yeah,
title. It's just like it's that sounds pretty to me. And so I think he her she was happy about it.
yeah,
So I'm just glad like I can just use that. And that's something like the another little, that's a very little thing, but so I published the soundtrack, like the full soundtrack as a full video on YouTube. And
hmm
I took the time really scroll down through every player's, like at this time, every player's screenshots of their city. Like you can do this in city builders. So I just did some kind of like slideshow, like a video slideshow of like every player. So it's just more fun to just put the main cover. So it's not much, but it's for me it's just more fun to do it that way. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just thought that was a nice like interaction there in a Discord. Yeah. So do you have, like, if you are allowed to say, like, any other plans for the future projects, or like what would be kind of your bucket list, or a kind of some video game genres, or like just video games you would be like love to be involved with?
So far, I guess like one of the wish that I would like, I'm pretty happy so far with like the projects that I've got involved with. For me, were very fulfilling and stimulating. So in some way, if I could just have projects of this scale, or like working with the people like Galaxy Grove, they're very fun to work with. Wandering Band, they're awesome people too. Like working with nice people, working with these indie projects, they're really like I said, they're fun to work with. They're creative. So like if I could just keep working with companies like this, that would be amazing. Also, so I you kind of like, the more you work, sometimes you just go into a direction and like you get like specialized. Like I'm starting, I guess, to be labeled like my main label is to like I feel like I'm writing good ambient music in some way, like city build. Like I've done a lot of city builders, so for like some relaxing music, some music like that are like so not that I want to get away from that. Like I'd be open to try other genres, but I guess like so. But yeah, I'm just open to whatever comes to me. And so I don't know. I was thinking like make fishing game could be fun. Golf game would be fun. Just but again, they would be again on the relaxing side of things. I really like 2D platformers. I'd like to do 2D platformers. It would be fun. Like I'm a big fan. I loved one of the games that I really loved that really made me want to make video game music was Ori and the Blind Forest. I don't from Gareth Coker. It's like it's a very beautiful game, a beautiful 2D platform. It doesn't need to be exactly this genre, but yeah. So and I'm not necessarily saying no to bigger, like let's say like AAA. But it's a bit it's so far away that it's hard to imagine. But it's not. Like if a AAA game company would call me tomorrow, like I would not say no way, I'm staying where I'm at. Like I would be excited, but it's not necessarily something that I'm desperately chasing. So, but it would be exciting, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's hope that you have some exciting projects in the future and have a nice and long career to follow. And yeah, so I think we'll kind of wrap this up here. And so we talked about the soundtrack to Town to City. Town to City is available on early access in Steam right now as we are speaking, and the soundtrack is available on Steam and on Bandcamp as well, and on streaming platforms. Yeah, Paul, do you have any closing words? You want to advertise some social media, some websites of yours, and where people can find you?
No, I'm good. But thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks. It was a pleasure for me as well.
If you've stayed this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet, do consider liking and subscribing, so you won't miss any future videos on our channel. I'm Joachim Schmidt. I'm from Radio Darmstadt, a non-commercial local radio station here in Darmstadt, Germany. If you want to find out more about us, our program, our live stream, our social media, do visit us at radiodarmstadt.de. Thanks.